Well, a good Monday to everybody, and I hope this has been a good start to your week. Whether you're working today or maybe have today off, today is Monday as we get our week started. I hope yesterday was a great Lord's Day on Sunday yesterday. And as we get into our week and things get busy, things get going, we really start interacting with a lot more people and we just get about the business of life. I want to, for our minute in the Word today on Monday, I want to share from Matthew 22, where in Matthew 22, beginning of verse 34, Jesus being tested, as he often was, he's on this occasion being tested by the Pharisees, by one of their lawyers, and he wants to know what is the greatest commandment. An interesting question. Jesus has a powerful response. There in verse 37, Jesus says that the first great commandment, as he will call it, the first and great commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. You love God above all, first of all, with all of your being, with everything you have. And then the second commandment, he says, is like that. The second is like it, that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And then Jesus says that on these two commandments hang or depend all the law and the prophets. Everything that God has taught, everything that God has commanded, everything that God has prophesied, everything about this life and who we are and what God wants of us and how we are to live for God, it is founded upon these two commandments. To first love God, and then secondly, to love one another. And so Jesus says that if we will love God and that we will love one another, then everything else will fall into place when it comes, because we'll be following God's will. As Paul will later go on to say, that loving one another, loving God really first, loving God and loving one another fulfills the law and the prophets, because if we are loving God and if we are loving one another, then we're not going to be doing things we shouldn't be doing. And we're going to be more focused on doing good and pleasing God and serving others. So as we go through this week, as we go today, tomorrow, the rest of this week, the rest of our life, we need to be loving God and loving one another. And so we need to ask ourselves, what am I doing? What are we doing to grow closer to God? Or to grow in our love for God? How are we showing our love for God? Then what am I doing to be better about loving others? What am I doing to grow in my love for others? How am I showing my love for others? So as we go through this week, let's work on that. Work on our love for God. Work on our love for others. Continually growing in that, being more diligent, being more active. Continue to work on that. And even if we've in the past, maybe we've not done so good with that, okay. By God's grace, we can move forward. By God's grace, we can do better. So grow in your love for God first and foremost, and then grow in your love for one another. And that is what God wants of us. And if we are doing that, then we will be living the way God wants us to be. Have a great week. Love God, love others. To God be the glory. God bless.